Leo, welcome to your November 2020 Astro Update. It's Trine here. So the big news in November is that we have two personal planets stationing direct, and this will open a portal from mid-November of this year, obviously, until the end of January of 2021, when all the personal planets will be direct, and it is considered a great time to launch things. So in this particular case, we have Mercury having been retrograde since the middle of October. And at the time when it retrograded, it was in Scorpio, which for you is the fourth house of home and family. And it went back into Libra, the third house, and on the 3rd, it goes direct in Libra, 25 degrees of Libra. So this may have had a specific connection to family issues, maybe some kind of misunderstanding involving the mother that spread to your siblings. And then things can kind of get sorted out starting on the 3rd. Now, it actually takes a week for Mercury to go back into Scorpio. So it will still be in that 3rd house for a week, and then it goes back into the 4th house. And there can also be issues connected to how house matters, like buying or selling a house, and maybe some contractual issues. And, whether it's just a typo on the contract or actual changes that need to be put into it. You might even be rethinking the neighborhood that you're moving into if you are spending more time there, kind of either moving in, and then you start to see things in a different light, and then you're like questioning it. So something may have to get sorted out with those issues for some other people. But on the 10th, Mercury goes back into that 4th house, and that can also indicate that your relationship with your mother or the family of origin in general is more in a spirit of understanding and not misunderstanding. On the 13th, Mars stations direct at 15 degrees of Aries. And this is a very friendly angle to you. It's a fellow fire sign. So we're talking about a trine, very cooperative angle. And this is occurring in the 9th house, where it has been for quite a while, Mars. And Mars in the 9th can be a situation with, for people who are in the academic world, some kind of fight, some kind of conflict. If you work in a university, I normally say, I'm thinking like with the other professors, if you're tenured, or maybe you're not a tenured and you want to be, and your ambition is to become a tenured professor and you're an adjunct professor, but clashing with other people there. But it can simply be that you're just more active in this area for some reason. The 9th house can connect the law, although I tend to think of the actual lawsuits as being the 7th house, but I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. The 9th house seems like it is the law. So maybe pursuing the law, pursuing publishing, pursuing religious studies or spiritual studies, traveling. With Mars retrograde, you may have been frustrated where you wanted to move, and I'm talking about just moving physically and expanding geographically, which is the 9th house is about expansion, and you couldn't. And so you felt like very restless, and now it's like full steam ahead, whatever it is that you want to do. And maybe that has something to do with any kind of paperwork, because Mercury in its own house of the 3rd house could be maybe even passports and things like that. So on the 15th, we have the new moon at 23 degrees of Scorpio. So there again, we're talking about that fourth house. Maybe it's a new house, a new relationship with your mom or your family of origin. Maybe you had to clear the air and there were things that had been kind of really buried beneath the surface that needed to be aired, that needed to be purged before. But it could be like physically moving house and, settling into your new home. On the 21st, we have two important transits that might affect you because they're both personal planets. We have Venus going into Scorpio in that fourth house, and Venus can be about money. So if you have sold an older property and you're getting the new one, then that could be it. The sun is also in Sag, and that for you is the fifth house. And this is the house that Leo rules. So you have a special affinity to the fifth house, and that means that it's almost like, I was going to say like a solar return in the sense that your sun is occupying the house that you rule. And so that, at least as a sub-influence, it can feel very good to have your sun pass through its own house. This can make you lighten up because the fourth house where the sun has been is kind of heavy. Sometimes it can deal with family issues, the past, childhood. And so if your childhood wasn't pleasant, if you don't have that great of a connection with your family of origin, then certainly that can drag you down a bit. And the fifth house being your house is about being a big kid at heart, maybe even having contact with children in some way. Maybe you're going to move so that you're closer to your adult children, and you're going to be able to be more of a on-hands grandparent. Hands-on, I said on hands. Oof. Hands-on grandparent. So something along those lines, and then you can enjoy the fun that children can bring, by kind of living vicariously through them in a healthy sort of way, obviously. And then there's also creativity, which a lot of Leo people are naturally inclined to do. That can be with the sun here. Sun is a creative force. Fifth house is creative center. And love, last but certainly not least. And just a little preview, there's going to be a solar eclipse in Sagittarius in December in this house. So if you're single and you're looking, this may be a time when you have a breakthrough where, you're able to have multiple opportunities to meet the perfect person for you. And this might even be a great time to start your own business with the personal planets direct. However, after the sun is, after you've had that eclipse in this house, that may even be better, but, it depends on what is right for you. On the 28th, a week later, we have Neptune direct in Pisces, and so for you, let me see here. That's the 8th house, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to do it in my mind. Yeah, that's got to be the 8th house. And so Neptune in the 8th house, wow, talk about mystical. So when Neptune was retrograding in this house, I don't know if it's that, much of a reality check, because the 8th house is can be pretty out there sometimes with some of the influences that it provides. It's the house of the occult and things like that. But you may have had some disillusionment in that area. Maybe you were dealing with a tarot reader, astrologer, somebody like that, a spiritual teacher, psychic in general, who you feel was not on the up and up. Neptune can bring deception, or a vision that you had that you begin to question. I don't think that was really of the light, or who knows? I mean, if you keep having the same experiences and after a while it doesn't seem like it's really a good thing, you might question them. And of course, it's always good to question things. Now that Neptune is direct, you can have those direct experiences without that, the kind of afterthoughts. And it's good to have both. I mean, it's good to be able to be open for the experiences, but by the same token, be aware of what you're getting yourself into and the effects that it's having. On the 30th, and also, that's another thing that I have to mention is that the eighth house is other people's money. So whether it's a partner's money, a an inheritance, certainly it could be an inheritance issue with possible contact or even conflict with mother and brothers and sisters. This could be like something, Neptune went retrograde in June, where somebody was being deceptive about a will. And maybe they were trying to keep it from you as long as possible, and you found out. And maybe something has resolved itself within that period of time. On the 30th, we have a lunar eclipse at 8 degrees of Gemini, and this is a friendly angle to you. This is like a sextile, and it's falling in the area of your friendships, your group associations. So these things may be eclipsed out of your life. And if so, why would that be the case? Maybe through friendship. It's possible that, if you've been wanting to sell a house, it sells, just very suddenly and you have to move, but you were already planning on moving. And it's just the proximity issue where you cannot keep the same friends at that level anymore. At best, it will be like Facebook or something like that. But it can be like a deliberate decision to move in a different direction. Again, with eclipses, it's not so much you doing this, but it's the universe working on your behalf and whatever that means to you. So the other thing, too, is having your ship come in. If you've had a lot of desires that you have, not fulfilled until this point, maybe it's like everything comes in at the same time. The 11th house is a house of hopes and wishes. Wouldn't that be amazing if that happened, Leo? Okay, that's what I have for you. I hope that you enjoyed this and resonated with it. If you would like a private reading, be it astrology or tarot or both, with my whole enchilada reading at a special price, 2 full-length readings, please check the link below. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye.